They only respect you when they can't control you. Funny, isn't it? The moment you break free, the moment you stop listening, suddenly they see you differently. Not as the fool who danced to their tune, not as the pawn who did as he was told, but as a threat. You see, people don't admire strength. They fear it. They don't celebrate independence. They despise it. Because the second you stop being predictable, the second you stop bending to their will, they realize they've lost control. And that's when the tables turn. Think about it. When you followed the rules, when you played their little games, they smiled at you, patted you on the back, told you, "Good job." But was it really respect? No, it was a leash, a chain, a collar wrapped so tight around your neck that you couldn't even breathe without their permission. But the moment you broke free, the moment you said no, oh, that's when they changed, didn't they? The ones who once cheered for you, now they whisper. The ones who once smiled, now they sneer. And the ones who once claimed to love you, now they hate your guts. Because you did the one thing they never expected. You chose yourself. And that is unforgivable. The world isn't built for people like you. No, oh no. It's built for sheep, for the obedient, for those who bow their heads and say, "Yes, sir, yes, ma'am." It rewards those who stay in line, who stay silent, who stay weak. But you? Oh, you had the audacity to wake up, to see the strings, to realize that every rule they fed you was a lie. They told you to be nice, to be polite, to be agreeable. And what did that get you? Did it get you power? Respect? No. It got you used. It got you walked on. It got you ignored. So tell me, when did it finally click? Was it when they betrayed you? Was it when they laughed at your pain? Or was it that one moment, that sharp, cutting moment, when you realized they never cared at all? Oh, I know that moment. That moment when the mask slipped, when you saw the truth behind their eyes, the truth that you were never one of them. You were just another piece on their board, another tool in their hands. And the second you stopped being useful, they discarded you. That's when you knew. That's when you felt it deep in your bones. It was never about respect. It was always about control. So you made a choice. You let go of the leash. You stopped asking for permission. You stood up, and they hated it. They called you selfish, arrogant, a problem, difficult. Oh, how they love that word, difficult. It just means you're no longer easy to manipulate. And now they watch you from a distance. They don't smile like before. They don't pat you on the back. But they watch. Because deep down, they know they can't break you anymore. And that's when the respect comes. Not the fake kind. Not the polite smiles and empty words. No, the real kind. The kind laced with fear. The kind that says, "I can't control them anymore." The kind that burns in their throat because it means they lost. Oh, but it gets even better. Because now that they can't control you, they start rewriting history. They start pretending you were the villain all along. They twist the story, change the script. Suddenly, you were always too much, always difficult, always a problem. Never mind the years you spent bending, breaking, bleeding just to fit into their world. Never mind the sacrifices you made, the times you swallowed your pride, the moments you let yourself be stepped on just to keep the peace. No, none of that matters now. Because the moment you took your power back, the moment you stopped letting them pull the strings, you became the enemy. And that's the real joke, isn't it? They don't want you to be strong. They don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to stand up and say, "No, I am not yours to control." Because the second you do, the second you wake up, you show everyone else that they can do the same. You're not most people. You don't break. You don't crawl. You don't beg. And that drives them insane. Because for the first time in their miserable little lives, they've come across something they can't control. A force that won't bow. A mind that won't bend. A soul that won't surrender. And deep down, that makes them jealous. They won't admit it, of course. Oh no, they'll pretend they don't care, pretend they don't think about you, pretend you're just another lost cause. But at night, in the quiet, when there's no one left to lie to. They feel it, that sting, that gut-wrenching realization that you have something they never will. Freedom. Because that's what this was always about, wasn't it? Not love, not respect, control. And now that they can't have it, they do the only thing left. They turn the world against you. They make you the villain, paint you as the monster, the traitor, the one who changed. Changed? No, you didn't change. You woke up. You saw the game for what it was. You saw the strings. You saw the way they moved people like pieces on a board, keeping them weak, keeping them obedient, keeping them desperate for scraps of approval. And the second you stepped off that board, they lost their minds. Because how dare you? How dare you not need them? How dare you stand on your own? How dare you show them that you never needed their permission to be powerful? That's the part they can't forgive. And so, they plot, they scheme, they try to find new ways to drag you back, to make you doubt yourself, to make you question if you really can stand alone. But the truth, you don't just stand alone, you thrive alone. Because when you cut the strings, when you stop chasing their validation, when you realize you were never meant to fit into their world to begin with, that's when you become truly unstoppable. Oh, but you can feel it now, can't you? The shift, the way they look at you. At first, it was just whispers, just glances, just little murmurs behind closed doors. But now, it's different. Now they're careful. Now they watch you with something they'll never say out loud. Fear. Because you didn't break. Because you didn't crawl back. Because you survived the fire they threw you into, and you walked out laughing. And now, they don't know what to do with you. Because everything they built, everything they stood on, depended on your obedience. It depended on your silence. It depended on you playing your role, nodding, agreeing, submitting. But that version of you, the one that once cared, the one that once begged, gone. And that's what terrifies them the most. Because now, they can't touch you. They can't manipulate you. They can't twist your mind like they used to. And worst of all, they know they never had any real power over you to begin with. It was all a lie, a trick, a carefully crafted illusion, and now that illusion has shattered. So what do? They switch tactics. They try to play the victim. Oh, it's almost funny, isn't it? The same people who once mocked you, controlled you, dismissed you like you were nothing. Now they sit in their little circles, whispering about how you hurt them, how you changed, how you became cruel. They'll say you abandoned them. They'll say you turned your back. They'll paint you as heartless, as ruthless, as cold. And you know what? Let them. Let them cry their little tears. Let them clutch their pearls. Let them rewrite the story however they want. Because the truth is written in actions, not words. And their actions, their history, it speaks louder than anything they could ever say. They never respected you. They never cared about you. They never saw you as an equal. Not until they lost control. Not until they realized you were no longer their puppet. And now they respect you. Now they fear you. Now they watch you, unsure, uncertain, terrified of what you might do next. And that is power. Not the kind that comes from force. Not the kind that comes from fear. The kind that comes from walking away, standing tall, refusing to be anything less than what you were always meant to be. Uncontrolled, untamed, unstoppable. And that's why they'll never forgive you, because you did what they never could. Oh, but you see, this is where it gets interesting, because now that they can't control you, now that they've lost their grip, they start to watch. Not just from the shadows, not just from a distance. No. They watch you closely. They analyze every step, every move, every breath, desperate to find something, anything, that proves they were right about you all along. That you were the problem. That you were the one who changed. That you were wrong for leaving, for fighting back, for standing your ground. And when they can't find it, when they realize that you are not only standing, but thriving, that's when the mask really slips. That's when you see the truth, the ugly, desperate truth. They never wanted you to succeed without them. They never wanted you to rise higher than they could reach. They never wanted you to win. Because if you win, if you prove that you never needed them, then it means they were never as powerful as they believed. And that is something their fragile little egos cannot handle. So what do? They pretend. Oh, they get real quiet now. The whispers stop. The rumors fade. They don't talk about you as much. They don't throw your name around like an insult anymore. No, now they act like they never doubted you, like they always knew you were different, like they always respected you. And if you didn't know any better, you might believe it. You might think, finally, they see me for who I am. But don't be fooled, because this isn't respect. This isn't admiration. This is fear. This is the moment they realize they should have treated you differently, that they should have never underestimated you, that they should have never tried to break you. And now they have a decision to make. Do they continue fighting a battle they've already lost? Or do they swallow their pride and act like they always believed in you? Most of them, they'll choose the second option. They'll try to sneak back into your life, try to attach themselves to your success, try to act like they belonged in your story all along. And some people fall for it. They let the same snakes slither back in. They let the same hands that once tried to choke them now clap for them. They let the same voices that once doubted them now sing their praises. But you know better. You know their applause is hollow. You know their words are empty. Because real respect isn't given when you're at the top. It's given when you're at your lowest. And where were they then? Where were they when you were bleeding? When you were crawling? When you were fighting battles they pretended not to see? Nowhere. And that's why you don't need them now. Because the truth is, you never needed them at all. Now we step into the final act. Now comes the part they never saw coming. See, they thought they could break you, thought they could silence you, thought they could erase you. But what they really did, they built you. Every betrayal, every lie, every knife in the back, every time they doubted you, dismissed you, laughed at you. They weren't destroying you. They were forging you. They were sharpening the blade. They were fueling the fire. They were molding something they would never be able to control. And now they're staring at the monster they created, the one who doesn't need their approval, the one who doesn't flinch at their opinions, the one who doesn't ask to be respected, because respect is no longer a request. It's a demand, and it's not given through words. It's earned through presence. And when you walk into a room now, you feel it, don't you? The shift, the silence, the way their laughter dies down, the way their eyes flicker with something they won't admit, the way they suddenly remember your name, the same name they once ignored, the same name they once spat out like an insult. Oh, now they remember. Because now they have to. Because now you're undeniable. And what do? Some pretend nothing ever happened. They act as if they were always on your side. They rewrite history in their favor. Others stay quiet. They watch from the sidelines, too ashamed to acknowledge you, too afraid to face the truth. But the best ones still hate you. Oh, they won't say it outright. They won't dare challenge you now, but you can see it. The way their hands clench, the way their smiles falter, the way they can't stand the fact that you're still here, that you won, because nothing burns them more than knowing that after everything, after every attempt to bury you, to break you, to make you feel small, you only grew stronger. And now they have to live with the consequences. Because you are no longer a whisper in the dark. You are no longer the one who was left behind, doubted, ignored. Now, you are the storm they never saw coming. And the best part? You don't even have to say a word, because your existence alone is enough to remind them of their greatest failure, that they should have never underestimated you. And that is the moment they realize they only ever respected you when they couldn't control you.